Hello everyone, I'm Rec-V5.
And I am Sandman99.
And welcome back to Open Tyrian 2000 on Sudoku difficulty.
Yeah.
That's what we've taken to calling it now.
Which is this, I don't know why that relates to that, like, 9x9 grid numbers game that you showed me.
Yep.
I don't know what the connection is there, but okay, whatever. I'm sure people who watch who are fans of this game will understand.
Anyways, well, it's more of an internet culture thing. But anyways, we got to start Act 3 here, and I guess the story behind Act 3 is something along the lines of we get captured and imprisoned, and I guess there's a Stargate that we'll be going to at some point. But currently we're captured and imprisoned, and we need to escape this place or whatever. So that's basically what we're doing here.
Oh, you don't look very captured or imprisoned.
That's because we got our ship back, apparently, and apparently they didn't strip the weapons off our ship or anything like that.
Oh, so you weren't really captured or imprisoned.
Well, we were captured and imprisoned, but not like, well, apparently.
Yeah, just by incompetence.
Space prisons, right? Space prisons are wildly incompetent. Don't you know this?
Oh, no.
Apparently.
Okay. Well, you know what? I don't know if you never necessarily expect deep stories out of a game like this anyway.
They try. They do a decent job, I guess, but, you know, I'm not really a big deep story guy anyways. I just like to blow shit up.
Yeah, well, this game is very reminiscent of the old, arcade shoot-'em-ups, right?
Yep. In fact, I believe it was an arcade shoot-'em-up at one point.
Yeah, probably.
It may have been.
I don't know. That one may have hit the arcades by the time when I was old enough that I didn't really go to arcades anymore, right? Because once I was old enough to go to the bar, I didn't go in arcades anymore, really.
I don't know. I used to go to the arcade when there was an arcade in the mall that I used to go to. But obviously that has long since shut down.
Yeah, well, in the small town where I grew up, there was sort of an old commercial building. And it was kind of weird laid out town, but there was like, it used to be a grocery store until the, local IGA moved into a newer building or something.
Yep.
Kind of thing. So then a whole bunch of other smaller businesses moved into it, a restaurant, and the bus depot was in that building, and then there was also an arcade in that building, right?
Yeah.
And it had a whole bunch of, this kind of thing, except that in the days when I was going to arcades, I think that the games were even older than this one, right? Because I can remember Space Invaders and Galaga, and, like a couple of other ones similar to that I don't remember the names of anymore.
Yeah. So I'm a fair bit younger than you, so yeah. I actually remember when, say, Street Fighter EX plus Alpha 2 was in arcades. That was the last game in that arcade at that mall that I was in.
Yeah. Well, and then they also had things like the old racing car game where the track was basically just two dotted white dotted lines.
Yep.
And your car was basically like a vaguely car-ish looking shape in white light, and you had to steer it through a more or less a figure-8 track, right?
Yep.
Except that the steering was all wrong. Like, in order to go around a sharp curve, you'd have to actually literally spin the wheel, you know? And then they had another game too that was out in the mid '70s called Gremlins, which was a car driving game kind of, but you weren't racing around in a track. You were chasing these little guys around on the screen and trying to run over them. And every time you hit one, you'd hear like sort of like an electronic scream, and then a tombstone would appear where it was, right? And the more of them that you ran over, the more points you got. that was the kind of cultured and highbrow type entertainment that we had in the arcades back then, right?
Of course.
I would imagine now people would be completely horrified by that.
Well, people will have like all kinds of like, well, I don't know. I mean, the thing is too is like I can say that people have all kinds of like moral outrage things that they have these days, right?
Yeah. Actually, no, they probably wouldn't mind that one. In fact, they would probably make it so that you would actually see full color blood and gore, actually.
But on the other hand, though, too, is it might just be too that you don't get as much public outrage over older things like that because people were less aware of them. And so that could also be it too, right? You don't really know.
Yeah, well, you know what though? Well, this was some many years ago yet, but when I was a kid, I used to watch the Bugs Bunny and the Roadrunner cartoon hour kind of thing, right? And you used to see the coyote trying to catch the Roadrunner, and he'd fall off a cliff, or a boulder would land on him, or whatever. And then later on, once I was an adult and in my 30s, I happened to tune in one morning, Saturday morning, and I saw the same old cartoons that I'd seen as a kid, except that they'd edited them so that every time that the coyote was about to die in some horrible fashion, like the screen would just cut away, right?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Because the thing is, too, is I grew up with, oh shit, we're gonna die on the bonus level here.
Uh-oh.
It's okay. We didn't have enough firepower to actually kill those guys, so then it just became a game of die, I guess. Not mandatory that we complete the bonus level, so, I guess we didn't die after all. But we don't get to try again. It being a bonus level and all.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know, like, I grew up with the, old uncensored cartoons many, many years after they were aired, actually, because, again, I'm a bit younger, and, by the time I was going through it, they were actually already very old, and I don't know how long they had the censored ones out, but I know when I saw the censored ones, I saw it had the same sense of distaste that you did. I couldn't believe it. Like, you think somebody getting crushed by a giant anvil is gonna make kids violent?
Yeah, well, you know what? Not only that, but even though it was the next generation afterwards, they had that, for a while, that cartoon called Animaniacs.
Yep.
And they had one episode where they were dropping anvils on people left, right, and center, and it was fucking hilarious. I laughed until my sides hurt, right? Like, I don't remember exactly what it was now, but something to do with a country called Anvilania that was being invaded by a neighboring country.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy who was the ruler of the neighboring country kept introducing himself as the dictator. I am dictator of whatever the name of the country was. And of course, the way that the Animaniacs reacted was, oh, well, pleased to meet you, Dick, or can we call you Mr. Tater, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, that one was a very funny cartoon. Even though I was much too old to be watching that kind of thing by then.
Ah, they're never too old. Just do what you want. Do what makes you happy, man.
Yeah.
You like watching cartoons, watch cartoons.
Large enemy approaching.
Life's too short to be doing things that you're miserable of.
You got a bubble boss now, huh?
Yep. Just for the gems, though.
Oh.
And I guess that's what sends us back in time or whatever. And then also we get advertisements like this mega sound chair.
Oh. Hey, I saw an article on Odyssey here yesterday that apparently now the new Call of Duty has got ads.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. They should just charge a price for their game that would make their game viable, or they should just stop making unviable products and unviable games.
Well, apparently, though, they're also charging lots of money for the game, too. Plus extras and all that kind of stuff, right? You know, like microtransactions.
Yeah,
kind of
fucking
things.
ridiculous.
So the ads are just another way for them to rake in more cash, right?
I don't know. Honestly, I hope that fails and goes down a deep dark hole and dies and never rears its head again. As I understand, Activision's been having, or is it Activision that makes those now?
Yeah,
I can't
think
even remember.
Yeah.
As I understand, they've been having difficulties lately, and you know, that sort of thing just doesn't make me feel any sympathy for them at all. I'll tell you that much. Alright, you don't need advertisements in your fucking operating system start menu, Microsoft, and you don't need advertisements in your video games, Activision.
Yeah.
Right, product placement is one thing. You can do product placement in a classy way to try to make the world more immersive, but like full-on advertisements,
having
no.
the guy drinking a Coke or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's
know?
nothing wrong with that. I don't have anything wrong with that. But advertisements in a game, no. And anybody who would defend advertisements in a game, you're terrible, you're bad, and you should feel bad.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Well, you know what? I noticed that even on things like Amazon Prime now, they have ads too, right? Which they never used to have. But I suppose I don't really mind that so much because, you know, like advertising in television has been a long established tradition for ever since there was television. You know?
Yeah, I suppose the cultural norms of the thing.
Like for 75 years there's been ads on TV, so, you know, like it's a little bit easier to take, and they're not hugely invasive, and they usually only have like one or two every hour, and they only last for like 30 seconds, right?
See, one of those special abilities we picked up is that repulsor, and I can actually, by mashing my fire button, make those fireballs head away from me, eh?
Oh.
Kind of like, well, I'll have to wait. Here, like, check this out.
Okay, yep, I saw him. I see him, yep.
And it's based on how fast you tap it. But, I don't really need to, because I can just destroy these things, right? I guess if there was ever a situation we found ourselves in where we really needed it, though, we'd have that defensive capability. But yeah, I don't know. I despise advertisements just because of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? Or I guess it's not that I despise advertisements. I despise companies that are resorting to advertisements in these situations, right?
Yeah.
We had gaming for like since the late 70s without advertisements. Why do we need advertisements now?
Well, it's just somebody clever saw an opportunity to make more money without having to do anything extra, right?
Well, you know what? And forgive me for being strong opinion on it. There's a special place in hell for whoever that is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not a Call of Duty fan, never have been, never will be. So I'm never going to play the game anyway, so I don't really care, but...
Well, the main thing is, I guess it depends on...
But I hope that this fails spectacularly, because if it's successful there, then it may end up becoming successful or being done in something else that I do like.
Yeah, and then basically you'll be stuck playing 5, 10, 20, 40-year-old games.
Yeah,
because you don't want to deal with that shit. Although the average game that the average gamer plays tends to be something like 10 years old now.
Yeah, well, I'm already in that category because, you know, like I don't know, I mean, I don't do it a lot, but every now and then I'll browse the site for Steam and that kind of thing, and I don't really see a lot of new things coming out that interest me, right?
Yeah. Well, games are really a different animal than they used to be, right? Even, I guess starting a decade ago, games were a different animal than they used to be, right? Like, this game here is very different from a lot of modern stuff. Even though it's a very colorful game, and with very good sound effects and decent controls, and interesting levels.
Yeah, in fact, oddly enough, once the modding community has had a little bit more of a chance to do more stuff, I might end up buying Oblivion Remastered. That will be my new game purchase probably for the next 2 or 3 years, right?
Or more.
But yeah, the modding community still needs to do stuff with it because apparently it still has bugs, and you know, like you need an unofficial patch to fix them, kind of thing, like you did with all of the Bethesda games.
Every
pretty
Bethesda
much
game, yeah.
have to have an unofficial patch. That's a major mod, right?
That's just Bethesda for you. It wouldn't be a Bethesda game if you didn't have to fix it.
Yeah. And you know, there's also a few other things that I'm interested in too, because I like, you know, vampires and werewolves and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And Old Oblivion I've got mods for those two things, right? So that you can play as a vampire or a werewolf with some decent powers and abilities and things like that, instead of the vanilla, you know, kind of half-assedry, right?
Yep.
And, you know, those kinds of things I like. And, you know, also, you know, maybe some mods having to do with player homes and, you know, stuff like that too, right?
Large enemy approaching.
By the looks of it, though, there'll be enough to do. I don't need to worry too much about a lot of quest mods and things right away.
See, this thing here is actually the boss.
Oh, is it?
But we've been flying past it like all map long.
Oh.
Level completed.
But they're pretty squishy when you have all those maxed out weapons. Ooh, look, we can get the laser. That's nice. So laser is my weapon of choice. It's not the most powerful weapon, I think. I think the lightning cannon is stronger, but I think it's almost as strong as the lightning cannon because of the fire rate. Shot per shot, I think it's weaker than the Mega Pulse, but because it's got the high fire rate, it's one of the strongest weapons in the game.
Oh.
And I really like the laser. You can't go wrong with the laser. The only bad thing about the laser is that it doesn't shoot through things.
Oh.
You know, they give us this bonus level where you gotta navigate all these little hazards and collect all the gems. I don't even know why I'm holding down fire.
Yeah, there's nothing
to shoot here. It's just muscle memory habit, right?
Uh-huh.
I guess we got to see our laser. We'll get to see it blow up things in the next level. Yeah, those things are actually pretty nasty when they grab you, though.
Yeah.
And I'm apparently shit at avoiding them. Because I get hit by every single one. You don't even get any points for picking up all that armor. You just get your armor back.
Oh.
But we haven't lost any, so... I wonder if those key presses pick up on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
I know they do for us, but we've got some noise filter.
I can hear them.
Yeah, I use a Cherry MX Green keyboard, custom keyboard. It's got Cherry MX Green switches with a, I believe the specs are like an 80-gram actuation, and they're clicky, tactile type keyboard. So they're like blues, but they're stiffer. For anybody who knows keyboards out there. And anybody who doesn't know keyboards won't have a damn idea of what I'm talking about, but that's okay.
Right. I don't have any idea what you're talking about.
Now we got these Zika superchargers, which are available to us, and they're kind of like a laser. They do about the same amount of damage as the Zika flamethrower, but they've got full screen range. But they don't shoot through things like the Zika flamethrower does, so there's that. But I'm going to try using them anyways, because they're easier on your generator. And if we did get the lightning again, then we'd be able to probably use them with the lightning.
Oh, boy. Well, it appears that thing there takes a lot of shooting to kill.
Well, it's because it's invincible, right?
Oh.
When it, unless it opens the jaws.
Oh, okay.
So you gotta fire in between the jaws.
Oh.
Yeah, and then this is, I guess, I I can't remember what this level is about. I think there was like this fucking micromod fleet that was like pursuing us after we escaped from their prison or whatever. And then like this is like the main fleet and we're just like going through this.
Oh.
I guess. You know, story things.
Yeah. Yeah, things that you don't pay much attention
Things I don't pay much attention to. I'm really... even when I was first playing through this game, I didn't really pay too much attention to it. The thing is, too, is... because we're on this difficulty and we can't necessarily get all of the power-ups... Or, sorry, destroy all of the ships, we can't collect all of the data cubes. And so you don't get the full story unless you collect all of the data cubes. But if you can't destroy all of the enemies, then you don't get the full story.
Oh.
Because then they don't drop the data cubes. But it is what it is. So that repulsor there is actually pretty good because it means we don't get shot by any of that lightning.
Yeah.
And we can just have our lasers trained on the damn front of that thing all day long without having to dodge. Yeah, that's Plasma Storm, by the way. That'll kill you. Don't you wish we got that much Plasma Storm on Lord of the Game difficulty?
Huh. Well, you definitely need something.
Large enemy approaching.
I think this thing also regenerates health.
Oh.
But if you can destroy it fast enough, then you don't gotta worry about it. Oh look, we can get the Zika laser here too. Which I think is actually less effective than the laser because of the fire rate. It does more shot per shot damage than the laser, but I think it's actually less effective than the laser because of the fire rate. We might use it for a while. Ooh, look, I could get a rear mega pulse. I actually prefer the rear mega pulse because it has backwards firing. So we're gonna do that. And we'll try using this thing for a while. And now we're like doing the first level slightly forward in time from where we were. I don't know what the offset for this is, but it's like maybe like a couple seconds offset, or we're like slightly forward from where we should be.
Oh.
Time travel. But these things drop pretty fast with the Zika laser, I suppose. But it's also really nice having a weapon that fires straight back behind you, too. For those situations where you end up with things that approach from behind.
Uh-huh.
I don't think we get any bonus levels from destroying that rock this time around.
Data acquired.
And this is actually what the level looks like on normal difficulty, because it doesn't have that dark flashlight thing that you might remember when we first went through it.
Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't. That only is on higher difficulties that you have the darkness. Oh, I missed the data cube there. Oh well. Oop. Yeah, you can't fly around the spikes in the same way either. Now, I think the Sonic Wave might be a better front weapon than the rear Mega Pulse here, but, wow, that was sloppy. But, we're using the rear Mega Pulse here just because of the rear firing capabilities. And we'll probably use it for the rest of the game. Well, we just blew straight through that guy.
Yeah. That looked a little easier than the first time.
Yeah, could we actually use the lightning now? Yeah, we might be able to use the lightning now. You see how our generator really struggles?
Yeah.
It might be usable, but I'm gonna stick with the Zika laser anyways. I mean, there are other rear weapons. I don't like the fireball because its fire rate is too slow.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like the rear missile launcher here because it's a ballistic weapon. And ballistic weapons are only, like, suited for certain things, right? More time travel, and I think this is also, like, the general layout of these is, like, they give you, like, the normal difficulty levels, but they give you them on this difficulty, obviously, because everything fires way faster and does more damage. But this would look a lot more familiar if we'd actually played through the game on normal difficulty, which we didn't.
Well, I remember when you were trying to play Lord of the Game difficulty this level, right?
Yep. Yeah, that was good fun, wasn't it?
I don't know. It was a grind. It took you over an hour just to play this one level.
Oh man, imagine what it's going to be like if we do any NES games on this channel. That'll be a grind. Some of those games are really hard. But that's what makes them fun, right? Even though you're trying over and over again, it's a challenge that makes them fun.
I don't know, I've never been a big fan of the ones where if you fail, you gotta start all over again. I've always preferred games with checkpoints and things like that.
Get a fire rate on that guy.
Yeah.
But everything's going to start to shoot a lot faster anyways, just because it needs to destroy us now while we have all these powerful weapons. So dodging becomes more important. Yeah, I might go back to the laser after this if it's still available. Because I think the laser is stronger than the Zika lasers here. Just because of the fire rate. Get a second one of those guys. Oh, there we go. We could get one of those now. Yeah, I'll try the laser again. We could also get this thing now too and shoot in all directions. But I'd rather have the forward power. And yeah, I think the fire rate of the laser, even though it's shot for shot, it's not as damaging, I think it does make it better. A better weapon. Now there are going to be things that probably the Zika laser is more effective against, because of the way that damage types work in this game, but it is what it is. And here's why I wanted a rear-facing weapon. Yeah, fuck. We got killed by that. I couldn't navigate over. Basically, you still have to fly under those guns, no matter how powerful your weapons are, because you're not going to be able to destroy those guns in time.
Yeah.
That felt good. There's a set of ships underneath that gun that I flew through.
Oh, okay.
And lost a bunch of armor. Ooh, that feels pretty good too, yeah. See, I think the fire rate of things now is the same as it was on Lord of the Game Difficulty Act 1.
Mm-hmm.
So, the difficulty has caught up with us now, but we have way more powerful weapons than we would on that too, right?
Yeah.
I have no idea how these sections are going to be. Ah, fuck. I fucked up that. That was sloppy. You know, we should have used the repulsor in that situation. That would have been a really good situation
probably,
for it.
like, use it almost all the time when those fireball things are following you around.
Well, the main problem is if I start to use it all the time, we start to get gaps in our fire. And in the moment we start to get gaps in our fire, then we can't destroy things that are on screen, and then we take a bunch of damage. So it's not always suitable to do. Ugh. But at least I can do the armor regeneration thing now, which is something that we couldn't do before because of our special weapon. But I probably don't have enough armor now to get through this because I stopped firing there and tried using the repulsor. But probably in that one situation, though, that's where we use the repulsor. Yeah, these time travel levels are pretty hard. Oop. Oop. And then to accidentally activate the armor regeneration to drain all my shields there. That was a great idea. We could get that flare back again, but I don't want it. Because then I can't use the armor regeneration. Which we might need. See, the sheer firepower of the laser means that you don't have to dodge a lot of these things too, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I like it as a weapon. Of course, you can't always see if something's coming in front of you either, because the laser will cover it up. So that's also a disadvantage. Because there's no gap in the fire, so if you use the gap in your weapon's fire to see what's coming at you to dodge, you can't really do that with a laser. And we still have to destroy that stupid force field thing. So we destroy the last of their fleet and the time travel thing.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, wow, you did this. And they're like, congratulations, but you're pissed off because you're tired of fighting this endless war. There's the story for you.
Oh. So that's it? You're done?
Yeah, that's it. That's the episode there.
Oh.
That's episode 4. Or sorry, episode 3, rather. That's how quick these go. And what do we have for new ship stuff? Well, honestly, don't get the widget beam. The widget beam kind of sucks. But, yeah, you know, it's just the usual items that you see in the shop, common weapons and things like that. If you were to start a game on Act 4 here, that's really hard. And this is where the game is going to start to get hard, because Act 4 is really hard. I guess the end of Act 3 was also kind of hard, because we died a couple times. But not too many times. But, yeah, Act 4 is really designed, like, they assume that all your weapons are maxed out at this point, and they just kind of throw everything at you. And so that's kind of what you got to be careful of. But anyways, I guess I'm kind of rambling here, so we should probably call this a thing now, huh?
Yep.
So, until next time...
I'm Sandman99.
And I'm RecV5. Have a good one.